Welcome back to Dallas Twang. I'm Dave. Number 3 of the southbound D train to Georgia. Why not? So what one more Georgia lyric gonna hurt, right? Um, Drink a little bit of my coffee while it's still hot. I think we're going to do one more of these after this. Now, this is the third one. If you look back in the last, consecutive 3 videos, we've had lick 1, a lick 2, all over the same backing track. If you're just jumping in here for the first time, we don't always do this. This is kind of a really almost a first where we've had this many videos dedicated to, this kind of one meta lesson. So check out those first 2 licks. Today's the first one that really uses bends. I've been playing all of these sessions in this series in the context of, other skills and ideas and things. But this one specifically, the lesson is on the bending riffs. And then, of course, we'll do a little bit of putting it together at the end of this one. But the next one here in a couple of days or this weekend, we're going to really kind of map out, not a note for note solo, but a real program for you to put together a 16 bar guitar solo over this thing. And in a way that, really has an infinite number of possibilities as how that will turn out for each one of you. So, had some comments lately about the proximity of the camera. Some people like it up close the whole time. Some people like it so that I guess there's more communication because you can see the eyes and see more features of communication. So today I'm kind of splitting the difference. I'm not going to zoom it all the way in, but I've got it kind of, the best closest I can get to having it both ways. We'll see how that goes. So we're in D. Well, we're actually in kind of an interesting thing I don't want to get sidetracked on, but we're using a D minor pentatonic. In that last wrap up, I'll talk a little bit about how you could, apply different key theories to this. But everything we're going to do today is going to be framed around this. Okay, D minor pentatonic. So here's the I'm not going to go, just right through that intro, but that was a good little sampling of the stuff that we're going to be looking at here. The first thing is that you're going to bend just kind of naturally in this sort of position is, right, that's just kind of the essential bend in this. Now, one thing you can do right away that takes a little bit of practice, but it's a really nice way to kind of, fatten up the sound in your playing is to get used to bending that and then hitting that unison note there. By unison just means the same sound. See that? A lot of times you hear that, right? Okay, and there's a lot of stuff you can do with that. You can separate them. You can hit them together, and you can kind of hit the fretted one first, or the stationary one first, and then right. So that's kind of more of a blues lick thing. So, but I just wanted to mention that because if you're not doing that, you don't want to do it every time you bend that in that position. But make sure that's in your kit, right? And here it really does come in handy because the next thing that we're going to do for this kind of southern lick is to go up another degree from that unison note. So we're actually bending up to the fifth of the. Okay, I'm using the D minor now. Down here, when I played that backing track, I didn't really use any third in my D. Right? But I'm playing that. That minor third. So, okay, there's a D minor triad. So when I bend this one, I'm hitting that fifth of the D minor. The note's A. And so for this first real lick here, repetitive lick, we're going to go. You can just think of it as degrees of the pentatonic scale, right? Okay, and one thing that makes this a pattern is that you can do the same idea starting on different notes. So if we go up here. This one's a little trickier because you end up on a note that's on the same fret as the one that you're going back down to. Right now, down here, you can use these two fingers too. I like to use these three a lot. Now you can also set another finger over there even though it's on the same fret, like. You got to play around with that stuff, man. That's slow that way down. Don't get in there and try to just rip it, over the track. You can put the track on and play it still at a slower pace. See where we're going here? We're really just playing that pentatonic scale, but we're doing a lot of bending. You can get up. That's one of the things you can do to just kind of embellish it, right? Maybe not so much the repetitive part, but let's say you do this part, 2 or 3 times around. That gives you a whole phrase of phrasing of licks there, right? One bigger lick. Now, I think that time also I pulled off here. I went, and that's the next thing I was going to show you. I didn't mean to demonstrate it before I even mentioned it. Let's go back to this one. Use your ear now. I know you can't see, there's not tab like right under this or whatever. Don't get discouraged by that. Go easy on yourself. Use your ear. If you feel aggravated, you're like, I don't know, man, I need to see it. I need to see it written down. Give it a try, because you get used to this ear training and really using that to learn this stuff, and you're just going to start paying off in a different way, a huge way. Doesn't mean the tab's not good, but don't run away, if it doesn't pop up in the first 2 minutes, right? So you can pull that off. Now, after a while, that's nice to put one of those longer phrases together, right? Then if you got some blues licks and stuff, just some pentatonic runs that you do, throw that stuff in there, man. Don't, just kill yourself trying to play lick number one. Lick, put it into a musical context right away. And again, it doesn't have to be super fast. Okay. Main thing I added there was I did some kind of bending down on this G string. So I'm kind of, those are the notes, but I'm doing it by starting with this bent. Okay, so I just naturally start doing more embellishments like that when I let myself go. I feel comfortable with the mechanics, and you will too after a while. And then those ideas just start to kind of come out, and you're like, wow, okay, that's cool. It's almost like you're watching your hand, like, all right, yeah. I wasn't thinking about that necessarily, but that's going to work. And that's what you want to start happening, right? It's this kind of, real connection between your ideas, your mind, your hand, and your body, and that comes from practice. But it also comes from practicing in a way in which you consistently trust you're kind of going into new territory, right? And don't and not judging whether the lick is correct or not, right? Now, one thing I wanted, a couple of things, and then we're going to keep this one kind of short, because that's a lot. What we just did, that's a place to hang out for a while and really put that track on and work that stuff out. Kind of switch it on and off. Work some stuff out, put it on. Get that muscle memory. Bond with it. Um, one thing I just wanted to mention really quick, and then one more thing, is that this one is the same as this one starting on the G string moved up to here. You hear that? Again, ear. Okay, that little piece of nugget of knowledge is going to come in very handy and give you movement. One of the things I did in that intro was I kind of, did some stuff here in our main position. Then I just kind of moved up into that next kind of pentatonic box, right? Minor pentatonic, and then up there, and it just kind of made like a kind of a beginning, a middle, and an end to that section of my solo, right? Here's what I mean by that, without going real fast. Okay, I just wanted to kind of bookend it there by doing something. I did kind of a little funky blues lick there at the end of it or something, But the main thing that to note about that was that position, then so look for where those same notes, same licks and sounds can be played on different string sets. That's how you learn your neck, right? Not by, just memorizing this part and then next week memorizing this zone and then this note. Some of that can work out, but some of that's also like not as efficient as just kind of, taking, exploring it and kind of relaxing, leave your mind open, and you're just going to discover, like, oh, yeah, I got to make an adjustment between, because the string intervals are different, but I can just get that same sound. That was kind of a tricky one. That's kind of why I did that. Don't worry about copying that. But I was kind of challenging myself, like, something that I always do right here. Oh, can I put my money where my mouth is and pull that off? I don't know. Probably sounds better down here. If it's not, don't overthink it. Okay. One other little thing I did, and then we're going to wrap this one up. That's is when I bent up here. Boy, that was a crappy one, that first one that I showed you, wasn't it? But I'm bending. I kind of overdid it because I was going to make sure that I pushed it hard enough. But I'm bending more than 2 frets there. Frets. Or threats. Bending up to that F, right? To that minor third. That's kind of a neat sound, and it's nothing real fancy, just hard to push it up there at first. But I didn't want to throw you off by bending that and not mentioning that. And that's something you would do occasionally, if you don't want to wear that one out, but it does sound cool, and it does help you when you're up in this position. So. Okay. Getting a little sloppy there. I have to turn this. I'm in this one room that's like besides the rest of our house, I have the doors closed back here. So I have a little window unit, and I run it like in between making the videos. About this distance into the video, you start feeling the fact that window unit's not turned on. So I get a little, your hand gets a little greasy or whatever. So put the track on, just a little bit of a demo for wrap up on this. Let me know how it's going. Look out for that final video in this series in a couple of days, and have fun with it. I'll talk to you soon.